Hello and welcome to the big picture. As the elections are on in full swing, with 3 phases already over and 6 more to go, Election Commission of India faces a tough task of maintaining the purity of the elections. Many cases of glaring violations of the Model Code of Conduct as well as its various notifications and diktats are pouring in from all parts of the country. Last week, its diktat to a major political party not to release its manifesto and to the media not to telecast it live was violated brazenly by the media as well as the party. Now on the issue of opinion polls, also a controversy has cropped up. Can opinion polls be published or telecast when the polling process has begun? Though exit polls have been banned, media continues to carry opinion polls. The Election Commission has expressed its helplessness in the matter, saying it's up to the government to come out with a law. Meanwhile, one is not sure of the fate of the FIRs being filed against leaders violating Model Code of Conduct. The political parties also take stand which is opportunistic at different parts of time. Is the Election Commission's authority being eroded? What will be the impact of such erosion if it continues? We will discuss all this today with KJ Rao, former advisor to the Election Commission of India, Seshadri Chari, BJP leader, Premchand Palety, Chief Executive CFORE, an opinion polling agency, Rasheed Kidwai, Associate Editor of the Telegraph newspaper, and Deepak Amin, Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Rao, I'd like to come to you first. What are the regulations when it comes to the opinion polls? Especially?
The opinion polls, as per the present instructions, they should not be their opinion polls from the date
of notification
till the
last phase of it.
No, it is not like that. The main thing it should not be there between for that phase, for each phase. It is from the date of notification till the date of notification till
for each phase.
For each phase only.
Okay.
Opinion poll. So for suppose first phase is over, there is no restriction for showing during that period. Second phase, third, for all the other phases, there is no restriction.
There is no restriction.
No restriction. That is the problem.
Like today, one of the newspapers have carried an opinion poll on Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Entire Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Only 10 constituencies in Uttar Pradesh went to polls yesterday, and there will be some in Bihar. Now the entire state of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar has been, the opinion polls for that has come out. So what is the position on that?
The position is its rule point is the Election Commission says they can't do anything in that matter, because it is the restriction is only for each phase of poll. That is up to that phase. For example, first phase is on. They can show the second phase, third phase, fourth phase, and fifth phase. Only during that period of the phase, you can't show the opinion polls.
Okay, I mean this is a very odd order. I think.
Why I tell you?
Why? How did this come about?
No, this is all because the former Attorney General, when the opinion went to them, because all the political parties in 2004, all the national parties and 18 of the 45 state parties which attended the meeting of the Election Commission, they all said that there should not be any opinion polls and exit polls.
Right.
But
all parties,
when they wanted to make a law, then the Attorney General opined that that would take away so far as the opinion polls is concerned, that would take away the right of the
people,
companies or whatever it is there, and take away the right under Article 19(1) of the Constitution. As a result of which, these rules have been framed in such a way that only exit polls only.
Has been banned till the last phase.
And exit polls only they have not been allowed, and opinion polls they can be shown. Even
they can be shown.
Yes,
they can be shown printed and all.
Yes. But only that 48 hours only that should not be shown.
Before each phase.
Before each phase.
Each phase.
Yes.
Seshadri Chari, you think that this is a fair order? You think that this is something which can be sustainable? Doesn't it, like for instance, today's opinion poll, of course it is very much in favor of your party, which has been published by one newspaper today. But don't you think in the overall scheme of things that this is a very odd order?
No, I think it's a very ambiguous order, because we should realize one thing. The sanctity of the Election Commission should be upheld. And all political parties and the news agencies, newspapers or television channels, everybody are expected to follow the rules and regulations that is set by the election commission.
Yes.
In all fairness, otherwise a democratic country like India cannot function. But in order to do that, the rules and regulations also should be framed in such a manner that it is easy to follow. Suppose you have a road and you put up a board, no entry on both sides of the road. What is the use of the board and what is the use of the road? So the orders and the rules and regulations also should be framed in such a manner. You know what happened was, we should go into the history of this opinion poll and exit poll.
Yes.
Basically, it originated from the US and UK and Canada and other countries where elections are held in one day.
Right.
Therefore, there was no problem of opinion poll, there was no problem of exit poll.
Absolutely.
In India, we have got in elections running for 1.5 months.
Right.
And with a 24/7, 365 days channel, news agencies, television channels, can you shut their mouth for 1.5 months? What will happen to their TRP?
No, but what will happen to the fairness of the elections?
Yeah, in order to maintain the fairness of the election, I can accept exit polls. Because exit poll very clearly says how the trend has been till today. Now, forecasting a trend for a future election is not exactly exit poll.
Okay.
So you are only highlighting the factors. You should have, you know what the government should have done is, they should have treated exit poll and this polls as on the same at par, and they should have said absolutely no exit poll and absolutely no trend forecast and everything. But then that would be coming in the way of the media's expression, right to freedom and so many other factors.
Okay, let me get Deepak. I mean, Deepak, you think what Seshadri Chari is saying is viable, and what is the opinion of your party on this? Today there is an opinion poll. I'm sure you must have seen in one of the newspapers, which predicts what's going to happen in UP and Bihar. 10 part of the election in both the states have happened, but the thing is that they are predicting what is going to happen. Do you think that this kind of predictions at this point of time can vitiate the atmosphere, can the level playing field can be disturbed?
Girish, I completely agree with what Seshadri ji is saying. In fact, if you see what the Congress party has done over the last several months, we have taken an official, very clear and crisp position on this, where we have said that we will not even participate in discussions about some of these opinion polls and surveys that have taken place on the television in the past. And what Seshadri ji is saying, the other point is also very important, which is that all the stakeholders in this must not only follow this model of code of conduct in letter, but also in spirit. And where there is a gap between the letter and the spirit, one must, since a large part of this model code of conduct is sort of brought in together on a semi-voluntary basis by all the stakeholders, it must be followed in spirit also. So an example is where one state is going to polls in multiple phases. The first phase exit polls or opinion polls should not be published until all of the phases are over.
Absolutely.
And the Congress party has taken a very crisp and very, very clear stand on this.
Yeah, okay. Premchand?
Yes, you will be surprised. Actually, I myself complained to Election Commission to stop this.
Okay.
See, in 2011, one of my clients, one TV channel, wanted to telecast my poll when the election process was on.
Right.
So I stopped them. I said,
after a particular phase was over.
In the 2-3 states were going to polls, 3 states, and it was in phases like we have now. And I asked them not to telecast this, do it 48 hours before the first day of voting. But immediately after that, we saw other TV, our competitors telecasting pre-poll surveys.
Okay.
So they said, you have stopped us, we lost a lot of business. But I said, no, Election Commission will take action against these people. No, and I personally complained to Election Commission.
No action was taken.
No action was taken.
Yes.
So there is ambiguity and no. So we missed session in the now. If I had been there.
Rasheed? there is ambiguity. Second, the election commission itself is not very proactive when it comes to taking actions. And then the third thing of, political parties at different points of time behaving differently.
Yes, Girish, that's actually a root cause of problem. Personally, I'm against any kind of ban or any kind of curb. First of all, we have to ascertain whether how these kind of opinion poll, exit polls affect. Do they hamper political process? Do they hamper outcome? There is no empirical research. There is no body of evidence that could substantiate. And it tends to be losers argument. For instance, today, if you see the BJP is in a position to, it looks like that they will form the next government.
All the opinion polls are showing
and
that
Congress avoids it.
In 2002, when I did for Doordarshan.
What I'm saying
One
is,
second,
the political parties.
No, 1 second, Rasheed. Yes.
In 2002, I did the last exit poll for Doordarshan.
Yes.
For Uttar Pradesh, Punjab. At that time, BJP was losing.
Yes.
And they were against the opinion polls. Actually, Rajnath Singh threw the Doordarshan mic. He was so angry with our poll results that we showed Samajwadi Party is winning. It was in phases.
Right.
But in April 2004, when all party meeting was there, all the national parties and all the regional parties who attended the meeting, they were all against the opinion polls and exit polls. They wanted total
ban on it. Yes, Rasheed. Rasheed, no, sorry. See, for instance, today's opinion polls, which has been carried by a particular newspaper, it talks about the entire Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Don't you think that, this virtually works? Yesterday there was a phase of elections in which 10 seats went in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar also. Now in this, doesn't it, it's working virtually like an exit poll of the first phase, because, isn't it? Don't you agree?
No, it does. But what I'm saying is the newspaper can always justify that there is, public interest, and this whole idea of this limit that this area is going to on first phase and second phase is absurd, because today you have, web, you have all those social media and all those forums are there where actually areas don't matter. Because if you are saying that this particular area is not going to be influenced, or this particular area is going to be influenced, is actually meaningless. A newspaper comes out from multiple editions. It can take a technical plea that, we don't come out from UP and we have done it for readers of Delhi. You see what happens, electoral reforms need, there is need for electoral reforms in totality. We cannot do it in piecemeal. For instance, we were just discussing Mr. KJ Rao, there are a lot of things that people make a declaration and there is no follow-up. The income tax department is oblivious of it. There's several other agencies who should take a note of it. They're not there. So what is the purpose? People make all sorts of electoral malpractices, complaints are made, and they're limited to once elections are over, everything is
forgotten.
So we need to do these things in peacetime. That is my argument.
In a phased election like this, definitely it will have an impact on the electorate.
More than electorate, it is the morale of the party workers.
Absolutely. Seshadri, Chari, I agree with Rasheed to a certain extent when he says that there is no empirical evidence about how much opinion polls influence or doesn't influence voters and things like that. But the thing is, and being a political party person, I'm sure you understand and you will agree that these kind of polls has a huge impact on the morale of the party workers.
Certainly, it certainly will have an effect on party workers. But if you turn the coin the other way around, it can also have a sort of a complacency of the ruling, the other party, the winning party.
Yes.
Look at that also. I mean, I'm equally worried about opinion polls from that point of view. If you are going to tell my party workers that you are anyway winning, they would all go on a long holiday.
Yes.
So see, there is no scientific evidence, or as you very rightly said, there is no empirical data about the opinion polls themselves.
No, but do you agree that the political parties behave according to what kind of results are being shown, what kind of trends are being shown into this at this point of time? Your party seems to be ahead. I don't hear any voices of protest or anything from your side. Now, Congress of course has taken a stand that they will not participate in any of this discussion because the trends are all going against them.
That is absolutely not true. We have taken a principled stand, Girish.
No, you have taken a principled stand for these elections. We will have to wait and watch in future elections if the trends are going in your favor.
And whether you will take a similarly Girish, in this
stand.
election also we are going to form the next government.
No, that is, we are not discussing about who is going to form the government. This is about a much larger issue. Yes, Premchand?
In recently concluded election, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, some leaders told me that one party workers were not going out of their home. They were convinced that they are losing. So party gives some money to them to spend. They were not even spending that. They said better to save money. So the moral goes so down because of
But
this.
Girish, that tells a lot about political structure of that particular political party. Because after is the entire
Any
democratic process
political
is
party,
driven by
any political,
television.
no,
Is the entire
I'm sure this is
media.
a problem with any political party. As Seshadri Chari says, now their worry is that there is this trend showing that they are much ahead of everybody and they are doing very well.
Girish, then
they are
how do you
worried
know-
that their workers may go home.
There is a whole talk of that wave. You see, hawa chal rahi hai. Now, how do you know? Can you substantiate it? Can you ban that
they
hawa?
don't substantiate
People
it.
say that
They-
is a wave in favor of a particular political
Not
party.
people, media. We in the media are
No,
saying that.
the entire political process is driven by media.
See,
also-
I'll
I'll
come to you, Deepak. One second, I'll come to you.
No newspaper or the agency which does this exit poll or opinion poll, they don't give the full figures how much they have taken
Rao,
service,
no, that is another-
and also if so,
that is a-
what is
that-
the percentage?
That is a completely
You look at
different
the number of voters
discussion itself.
and number of television viewers
And
and newspaper readers.
Yes,
it is unthinkable
It's
to think that the entire
absolutely
political process
absurd.
is managed or can be influenced by
So
television
you
and
are,
newspapers.
Girish, can I just come in?
Yes, Deepak.
I was saying I'd like to make 2 points.
Yes.
One is this whole euphoria about the opinion polls going one way or the other. We must remember that just like a month ago, 11 such opinion polls in a sting operation were shown to be completely fraudulent.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
first point, right?
No, we have.
It's
No,
dangerous.
but we have discussed that and in extensively about the way
That's my
about that.
first point, Girish.
Yes. What is the second point?
My second point is somebody on the panel, I don't know who said it, is questioning the impact of these opinion polls, saying that do they have an impact or not.
Right.
And my counter to that is, if you don't know whether it has any impact or not, then I would say let us err on the side of being conservative and being cautious and just stop it until the last day of the last phase is over and then show it.
Absolutely, Mr. Rao. I want to move to another issue, as important issue. The other day, the release of manifesto got delayed, and then the first phase of polls had begun, and then the election commission said that you can't do this, you can't publicize this thing. But the people went ahead, the party went ahead and made its announcements. The media went ahead and covered it live, and I have not seen a single word from the election commission protesting against it or trying to send a notice what is happening to the election
The
commission.
point is BJP, so far as the BJP that which they have published that day, that is, I feel that it cannot be taken as a violation of any of the guidelines issued by the election.
Then
Commission
why
of
did
India.
the election commission have to say that? at
They
all?
should not have. It was not necessary. I think it was not at all necessary. The manifesto, they have to release it. There was some delay. They have shown it after a particular date, whatever they could not show it earlier. That is held in an office, and it is not in an open place or anything. No gathering would be there. It is released in their office.
No, but it was telecast live.
It was telecast live. Naturally, it would be telecast, but
No, but there was a problem that day for many television channels like us also.
I think
Whether we should cover it live or we should not cover it live, we didn't know.
You see,
Many channels did not cover it, but many channels covered it.
The election commission said only in 6 constituencies where the poll was going to be held within 48 hours. There only it should not be.
How is that possible? How is that possible?
possible?
Seshadri Chari, this is another classic case, where your party got involved in it, but you people went ahead and said that, we will do what we want.
Exactly. See, we took legal opinion on this, and we also appealed to the election commission that we do accept there was a problem on our part.
Right.
And we have delayed the manifesto.
Right.
But we will have to go ahead with it.
Right.
So the election commission said that if as long as it is not a public function, so we decided to show it, hold it in our office.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, we had not sent any notification to any of the channels inviting them to show this. But we cannot prevent the channels from coming to our office.
You could have prevented
So-
if you wanted to.
No,
If you wanted
see,
to, couldn't you
Mr.
have,
Chari,
couldn't
yes,
you, couldn't
all-
you have, couldn't you have prevented them?
Your
what
parliamentary
we
board
could have
meetings are
done-
not open for media.
What has happened is, I think somewhere the election commission also has to take the realities of the situation into consideration. Today, you don't require a television box to see what is happening where.
Yeah.
You have Twitter, you got Facebook, you got the social media.
No, you
Everything is on air in public
Right.
within a few seconds.
No, it's the web channels can
The web channels.
telecast it from wherever and whatever.
So how can you stop this?
So the but
You
the
know,
fact
the right
is,
thing,
but the
as
fact
somebody
is a
pointed
major,
out, nahin,
but the
Girish,
fact is a major
as-
political party like yours brazenly violated whatever the election commission
No,
tried to say.
no,
and
I
election
won't
commission
say.
had nothing, had no word.
No, it is not a violation. Yes, there were some rules and regulations which could not be followed up by us, and because of the lacuna in the law, the election commission has no teeth as
Has
far
no
as these
teeth.
things are concerned.
Absolutely, the election.
And I'll tell you one more thing, Mr. Nikam.
Completely
See,
disagree.
Yes.
The most important thing is the election commission's main job is to hold elections.
Right.
Now today we are expecting them to behave like a policeman, like a Supreme Court, like a law enforcing authority, like the parliament, and they all rolled into one.
And the executive also.
And the executive also.
Yes.
So have we equipped the election
Girish.
commission?
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Deepak. Yeah. Okay, Deepak. Deepak,
So,
your Deepak,
this
your party.
logic.
No, one
Girish,
second.
This logic.
Deepak,
that,
one second.
The BJP had
Deepak.
some problems on their side.
No,
and
Deepak,
because of the problem on their side, there was a delay, and because of that delay, they held the function inside their office. And they had no control over the coverage, just like saying सबको मालूम है मैं शराबी नहीं फिर भी कोई पिलाए तो मैं क्या करूं. I mean that's complete. And then to hide behind the fig leaf of the election commission not having teeth is completely baseless. The
No,
election
but
commission could have at the very least censured them.
Deepak.
The election commission can take action, but they haven't.
But Deepak, as the main ruling party today, you know how did the Congress react to it? The Congress also kept quiet. You know, there was a muted reaction from the Congress about this. What apparently was brazen violation. Congress kept quiet. Why is the Congress quiet?
Absolutely not, Girish. We have not kept quiet. We protested against it. And secondly, there is no concept of a ruling party anymore. We are all in election mode.
Absolutely. So you think that the Congress party's relative silence on these things also when it comes to
There is no silence. We have protested against this. It is absolutely a
Rasheed,
violation of the
It is
model
the
code of
problem.
conduct.
Political parties don't realize. You see, the law has its own limitations in democracy. Political parties have to have their own democratic credentials to prevent any kind of violation, and there has to be this has to be inbuilt in them. By blaming law or by blaming election commission, I think that's not part of this healthy process of democracy.
Okay, Mr. Rao, so now more or less there is a consensus in this panel. I don't know about outside. In the panel there is a consensus that the election commission is losing its teeth, or did it have teeth at all?
No, they wanted more powers which were not given. That much I can definitely say. The election commission has been requesting the parties in power, whether it was BJP or Congress, and make some reforms, electoral reforms, which they have not been doing. It is their own pit in which they are falling now.
No, but you tell me, as far as violations of model code of conduct and people making inflammatory speeches and things,
that is it.
these are issues which come fully within the scope of the election
Yes,
commission.
definitely.
Ambit of the election commission, FIRs are filed,
Yes.
notices are issued, replies are taken. What happens after the elections are over and everybody forgets it? Is there any follow up of the FIRs done? We have not heard of any follow-ups being done.
No, basically follow-up action, because the election commission is not responsible. It has to be, the law takes its own course. But so far as the hate speeches are concerned, I can definitely say that it is high time that the election commission should take action against such hate speeches particularly the one the other day Azam Khan and then the other person Amit Shah have made, they should definitely go ahead and take action against the party consent which are the candidates of which they have spoken like that. It is there is provision under the under the symbols order to issue a notice, and after hearing them personally they can take action.
Seshadri
But
Chari,
even though whatever may be the
Girish,
action.
there's one
Seshadri
point I'd
Chari-
like to make here.
No, Seshadri Chari, please
Yeah,
listen to
I
my
can-
question.
otherwise
And
it's-
we're running out of time, so I want short replies from you, and you and Amin both. You know, the thing is that when things are going against you, when your rival party leader or member makes these kind of statements, you people take it very, you make a big song and dance of it. As soon as elections are over, you also forget it, everybody else forgets it.
No, it is not that we forget it, but there is a logic in saying that every political party has to behave in a manner so as not to infringe any kind of law or these said procedures. It is within the purview of the parties themselves. There is a limit to which the election commission can go, there is a limit to which even the law can go, because the election commission's work is over on 16th May.
Right.
From 17th May onwards, election commission becomes another constitutional body.
Right.
So now the whole onus of implementing all those things goes into the hands of the government. And we have seen once a party becomes a ruling party, how
these things are approached.
Therefore,
Yes.
I think as somebody pointed out, these are important points and discussions which should take place not during elections, but probably during peacetime, or what he could call after elections.
Okay, and Deepak, very quickly.
Girish, there was just one point I
Yes.
wanted to make, which is that somebody said that in fact the election commission had asked for more powers but didn't get it. That is not correct. There was a parliamentary committee that was formed. They had in fact said that the model code of conduct should be made into a law. And in fact, the election commission itself had opposed it on
the election commission opposed
on the
it.
grounds that this would cause inordinate delay, which would not be called for in a time of election, which happens only over a 45-day period.
So you
It
are
is a
saying
fact. It is a fact. Do
no,
you
no,
agree with
Mr.
Azam?
Rao. So your statement earlier that political parties, come at some point of time agreed and then later. No, political parties were willing to give powers. Why would the election commission?
No, he is talking about the code of conduct, model code of conduct.
Yes.
The model code of conduct. The election commission itself said no, we don't want that to be made a code, because now all the political parties are morally bound by that one. That is more powerful than
Then having a legal binding.
this one.
Very
So
quickly.
otherwise they will make on violations and then wait for the courts.
Yes.
That will take years together. By
So,
that time the second election
okay.
will be had.
We need people like Seshan who can set some examples. Like
Set
he
some
is-
examples and last
I
one very
think
quickly.
zero tolerance within among all political parties. There should be no tolerance toward hate speech or any violation of the election model code of conduct. That
Okay.
itself will do. Law will not suffice. Law will always help.
Okay.
Law will not suffice.
I think on
than
that
law.
note we need to end. But the fact of the matter is, what is worrying is all the panelists today agree that there has been some kind of an erosion of the powers or the way election commission is using its powers, and that is something which is a cause for concern, and hopefully we will see more stiff actions from the election commission when it comes, as Rasheed says, zero tolerance towards these things. Hopefully we will see that in the remaining phases of the election. Thanks to all my guests, Seshadri Chari, Deepak, Amin, Palety, KJ Rao and Rasheed Kidwai. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in the big picture same time on Monday. Meanwhile, have a great weekend.